The most expensive mistake in business is convincing yourself you can't afford PR and watching other founders show up in Forbes and Bloomberg and on the podcast your customers listen to while you're nowhere. Founders will spend $50,000 on a paid ad campaign and never question it, but $5,000 a month to get covered by the publications your customers actually trust, and suddenly that's too expensive. The math is backwards, and it's costing you more than you think. I want to walk you through what $5,000 a month in PR actually gets you, because most founders who think it's too expensive don't actually understand what they're buying. I'm also going to show you why comparing PR to your ad spend is the wrong equation entirely, and what you should be comparing to instead. And there's a client of ours who did one 10-minute podcast interview and woke up the next day to over 50 phone calls and signups. So I'll tell you exactly what the PR team did to make that happen. When most founders hear $5,000 a month for PR, their brain immediately files it next to what they spend on ads or what they'd pay for a marketing contractor. But PR doesn't work like either of those things, and that misunderstanding is where the whole objection starts. So let me break down what $5,000 actually buys. You get a dedicated publicist working your account and access to journalist relationships that took years to build. You get story angle development, pitch crafting, follow up with those journalists, and a full PR team whose entire job is landing media placements for you. What you're paying for is a team that knows how to take your story and position it so a journalist at a credible outlet actually wants to cover it. Plus a network of media contacts you could not build on your own in any reasonable amount of time. But here's where it gets interesting. The minute you land one media placement, that placement doesn't just sit in a vacuum. You post it on your website, share it on LinkedIn and your socials, send it to your email list, and as featured in whatever the outlet is, becomes a trust signal that works across every marketing channel you already have. One placement feeds your website, your social proof, and your sales conversations all at once, and we call this the visibility flywheel. Visibility builds authority, which builds trust, which is what ultimately drives revenue. Each placement you land accelerates the next one, and that acceleration matters because every piece of coverage you get makes the next one easier to land. Journalists check your media history before they agree to cover you, and when they see you've already been featured in credible outlets, you go from being an unknown pitch in their inbox to a vetted source they're comfortable putting on the record. The investment compounds over time in a way that paid channels never will. Now, here's the comparison that trips founders up, and it's where the whole objection falls apart. Founders will spend $50,000 on a paid ad campaign and never once ask whether it was worth it. It's just a line item. But they'll sit with a $5,000 a month PR proposal and agonize over it for weeks. If you've ever done that, the math you're running in your head is wrong. And here's why. Paid ads are recognized as paid, and your customers know you bought that placement. A lot of them scroll right past it, and the ones who do click are already aware they're being marketed to. Earned media is a completely different dynamic. When a journalist at Forbes or Business Insider or any credible publication decides to cover your story, that article carries the publication's credibility with it. You didn't buy that placement. A journalist decided your story was worth telling. And that distinction matters to every single person who Googles your name before they do business with you. Then there's the lifespan question. An ad stops working the second you stop paying for it. And when you turn off the campaign, the impressions and the clicks just disappear. A media placement lives online permanently, gets indexed by search engines, shared across platforms, and referenced in future articles. The piece your PR team lands for you in month 3 is still generating trust and driving traffic in month 12 and beyond. Try getting that out of an ad campaign you turned off 9 months ago. When a potential customer or investor or partner searches your name, what do they find? If it's your own ads and your own website, they know you're marketing to them. But if they find third-party coverage from publications they already respect, that sends a completely different signal. One says, "I paid to be here," and the other says, "Someone credible thought my story was worth covering." That gap between paid visibility and earned credibility is real, and it's why one Forbes feature can outperform $50,000 in ad spend on trust alone. Everything I just walked you through, how PR compounds, the credibility it builds, trust it creates, That's how it works on paper. Let me show you what it looks like when it actually connects for a real business. Steve Davis is the CEO of Total Wealth Academy, and they teach passive investing in real estate. Steve was the kind of client who made the most of his PR investment because he was willing to take every opportunity to get his name out there. He'd comment on real estate trends and wealth building strategies, and sometimes he'd take the position that real estate was a better path to financial freedom than the stock market. Now, here's where the PR team earned their fee. They identified a topic that was trending in the news cycle, getting rich in America, and what it actually takes for somebody young to build wealth in today's market. They took that trending angle and matched it to Steve's expertise, and they pitched it to The Morning Wire, which is one of the most listened to podcasts in the country with millions of listeners. The journalists had already worked with the PR team before. They thought the angle was strong, and they brought Steve on. Steve did a 10-minute interview on that podcast, and the next day he told the PR team it had generated 50 to 60 phone calls and sign-ups to Total Wealth Academy from one conversation, 10 minutes on a microphone. Those sign-ups traditionally lead to significant revenue down the line. But here's the part most people miss when they hear a story like that. Steve didn't get booked on The Morning Wire on day one. The PR team built his media presence over time, landing coverage that gave him the credibility and the media resume to access platforms that big. The build-up is the investment, and The Morning Wire was the payoff. That payoff only happened because a team was doing the work every single month, building journalist relationships, crafting pitches tied to what the media was covering right now, and positioning Steve's expertise in front of the right people at the right time. That's what we do at Otter PR. We're a 2-time Inc. 5000 honoree, ranked the #1 PR firm on both G2 and Clutch, and we guarantee media coverage every single month. We work month to month with no long-term contracts because we don't need to lock you in to keep you. Here's what I want you to do. Click the link in the description and book a free strategy call with our team. On that call, you're going to talk to someone who will look at your business, your story, and your goals, and they'll map out exactly what a PR campaign looks like for you, including the kinds of outlets we'd target and the angles we'd pitch. You could have your first media placements within weeks. Stop telling yourself PR is too expensive and find out what it's actually worth for your business.